Welcome to our journey through the most awe-inspiring miracles performed by Jesus Christ, as recorded in the Gospels. These acts of divine power not only demonstrated his authority, but also his deep compassion for humanity. From the bustling marketplace to the quiet shores of Galilee, Jesus moved among us, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. He healed the sick, comforted the afflicted, and challenged the very fabric of what we thought we knew about life, death, and the universe itself. In each miracle, we glimpse the boundless nature of his power and the immeasurable depths of his love. Today, we delve into the stories that have captivated hearts and minds for centuries, unraveling the mysteries and seeking a deeper understanding of the divine within the human. Our journey begins in the village of Cana, where a joyous wedding celebration becomes the setting for Jesus' first public miracle. Imagine the scene. Music fills the air, laughter echoes through the courtyard, and the scent of roasted lamb wafts from the kitchen. But amidst the festivities, a problem arises. The wine, the lifeblood of celebration, runs dry.
They have no wine?
Woman, my time has not yet come.
Despite his initial reluctance, Jesus instructs the servants to fill 6 large stone jars with water.
Draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet.
The water has been transformed into the finest wine he has ever tasted, revealing Jesus' compassion and willingness to turn ordinary moments into extraordinary encounters with the divine. Picture a vast, grassy plain bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. Thousands of people have gathered, drawn by Jesus' teachings and his reputation for healing. As the day wears on, a practical problem emerges. The disciples realize they have woefully insufficient food to feed such a multitude.
Dismiss the crowd so they can go to the surrounding villages and buy themselves something to eat.
You give them something to eat.
All they have are 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish, a meager offering for so many hungry mouths. Jesus takes the bread and fish, looks up to heaven, and blesses the food. The bread multiplies in his hands, enough to feed everyone present and then some. This miracle serves as a powerful reminder that with faith, even the smallest offering can be multiplied to meet the needs of many. Imagine the disciples in a small boat, tossed about on the choppy waters of the Sea of Galilee. The wind howls, the waves crash against the hull, and fear grips their hearts. Suddenly, a figure appears, walking towards them across the turbulent water. As the figure draws closer, they recognize their teacher, Jesus.
Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water.
Come.
Peter, filled with a surge of faith, steps out of the boat and onto the water. For a brief moment, he too walks on the surface, his fear forgotten in the face of this extraordinary experience. But then, doubt creeps in. He takes his eyes off Jesus, focuses on the raging storm, and begins to sink.
Lord, save me.
In an instant, Jesus reaches out, his hand a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. He pulls Peter up, a tangible reminder of his unwavering presence even in the midst of life's storms. Our journey takes us now to the village of Bethany, where grief hangs heavy in the air. Lazarus, a close friend of Jesus, has died. Mary and Martha, Lazarus' sisters, are overwhelmed with sorrow. When Jesus arrives 4 days after Lazarus' burial, he is met by Martha.
Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died.
Your brother will rise again.
I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day.
I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies.
He asks to be taken to Lazarus' tomb, a cave sealed with a large stone.
Take away the stone.
But Lord, he has been dead for 4 days. There will be a stench.
Father, I thank you that you have heard me. Lazarus, come out!
Silence descends upon the crowd. Then, from the darkness of the tomb, a figure emerges. Lazarus, still wrapped in his burial cloths, stumbles out alive. Jesus, in this act of unimaginable power, reveals his mastery over life and death, offering a glimpse into the eternal hope that lies beyond the grave. We find Jesus in Jerusalem, where the bustling crowds part as a blind man begs for alms. The disciples, seeing the man's plight, ask Jesus,
Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?
Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him.
Jesus performs a simple yet profound act. He spits on the ground, mixes the saliva with dirt, and applies the mud to the blind man's eyes.
Go wash in the pool of Siloam.
The man obeys. He washes the mud from his eyes, and as the water cascades over his face, a miracle unfolds. The world explodes into color. Shapes emerge from the shadows, and for the first time in his life, he sees. This miracle challenges the belief that physical suffering is a direct result of sin, revealing instead the works of God. The Sea of Galilee, often placid and serene, can transform into a tempestuous beast with frightening speed. Imagine the disciples once again caught in a sudden storm, their small boat tossed about like a toy in the grip of a giant. The wind howls, rain lashes down, and waves crash over the bow, threatening to swallow them whole. Fear grips their hearts as they struggle to keep the boat afloat. Where is Jesus in this moment of chaos? He is asleep in the stern, his head resting on a cushion.
Teacher, don't you care if we drown?
Jesus, awakened by their cries, rises to his feet.
Peace, be still.
And just like that, the storm ceases. The wind dies down, the waves subside, and an eerie calm descends upon the water. The disciples, their fear replaced by awe, look at Jesus with newfound reverence. Who is this man who can command even the wind and the waves? Our journey takes us to Capernaum, where Jesus is teaching in a crowded house.
Outside, a group of men carries their paralyzed friend on a mat, desperate for Jesus to heal him.
Unable to get through the throng of people, they climb onto the roof. They carefully remove a section of the roof and lower the paralyzed man on his mat into the very midst of the crowd, right in front of Jesus.
Son, your sins are forgiven. Which is easier to say to this paralyzed man, your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up, take your mat and walk, but that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. I tell you, get up, take your mat and go home.
Instantly, the man feels strength surge through his limbs. He gets up, rolls up his mat, and walks out of the house, leaving the crowd awestruck. Our journey reaches its most profound moment, the resurrection of Jesus. Imagine the scene. The disciples and followers of Jesus are devastated, their hopes crushed by his crucifixion.
On the third day, Mary Magdalene and some women went to the tomb carrying spices.
Imagine their surprise when they found the stone rolled away and the tomb empty.
Do not be afraid, the angel proclaimed. He is not here, he has risen.
The women ran to tell the disciples, their words tumbling over each other in their haste. Peter and John raced to the tomb, finding it empty, just as the women had described. That evening, Jesus appeared among the disciples, showing his hands and side. This is more than just a miraculous event. It is a triumph over death itself. The resurrection of Jesus stands as an eternal beacon of hope. Imagine the region of the Gerasenes, a place where the line between the physical and spiritual world seemed to blur. It is here, in the eerie silence of the tombs, that Jesus encounters a man possessed by a legion of demons. The man, his mind and body tormented by these unseen forces, is a shadow of his former self.
When Jesus approaches, the man, driven by the demons within him, falls down before him.
"What do you want with me, Jesus? Son of the Most High God." The demons cry out through the man's lips, "I beg you, don't torture me."
Come out of him, you impure spirit.
The demons beg Jesus to send them into a herd of pigs feeding nearby. With a word, Jesus grants their request. The demons leave the man and enter the pigs, who then rush down the steep bank into the lake and drown. In a crowded street, Jesus makes his way through a throng of people. Among them is a woman suffering for 12 years, weak and hopeless. She spent all her money on doctors, but her condition worsened.
She heard stories of Jesus' healing power and compassion. Hope ignites within her. She believes he can heal her. She pushes through the crowd, eyes fixed on Jesus. With faith, she touches the edge of his garment. She feels a power surge through her body. Her bleeding stops and she knows she's healed.
Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace.
This miracle shows the power of faith and Jesus' compassion. These miracles not only showcase Jesus' supernatural power, but also revealed his profound love for humanity and his mission to bring salvation and healing to the world. From turning water into wine at a wedding celebration to calming a raging storm at sea, Jesus demonstrated his mastery over the physical world and his deep compassion for those who were suffering. He healed the sick, cast out demons, and even raised the dead, offering a glimpse into the boundless possibilities of faith. and the transformative power of God's love. These acts of divine intervention were not merely spectacles, they were tangible expressions of Jesus' desire to alleviate human suffering, to bring hope to the hopeless, and to reveal the compassionate heart of God. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the miraculous works of Jesus Christ. May these stories continue to inspire us, challenge us, and draw us closer to the one who holds the power of life and death, the one who offers us hope beyond the grave, the one who is the embodiment of love itself.